Hi guys, let's talk about mechanism of hormone action. As we know, several hormones are released in our body, and on the basis of their chemical nature, these hormones can be divided into four categories: peptide hormones, steroid hormones, iodothioneins, and amino acid derivatives. Example of peptide hormones are insulin, glucagon, hypothalamic hormones, pituitary hormones. Steroid hormones are cortisols, testosterone, estradiol, and progesterone. Iodothioneins are the thyroid hormones, and amino acid derivatives are the epinephrines. For these hormones to act on our body, first they need to be bind to the hormone receptors. Hormone receptors are the specific proteins that are present on target cells to which the hormone binds. For example, this is a cell present in our body, and over this cell there are several hormone receptors present. Hormones will come and bind to this receptor, and then only the physiological function will be executed. Hormone receptor present on the cell membrane of the target cells, these are known as membrane bound receptors. And also sometimes these receptors are present inside the cell, and they are known as intracellular receptors. These mostly are the nuclear receptors. Each receptor is specific to one hormone, and hence receptors are specific. That means only one kind of hormone can bind to a specific receptor. This hormone cannot bind to another receptor. A hormone comes and this binds to a specific receptor that is present on the membrane of the cell or inside of the cell, and this complex is formed, which is known as hormone receptor complex. This hormone receptor complex leads to several biochemical changes in the target tissue, and later the physiological function is executed. Now let's take a look at mechanism of action of protein hormones. Protein hormone like FSH. These protein hormones interact with the membrane bound receptors that are present on the cell membrane. One point to be noted is that these do not enter the target cells. They generate a secondary messenger that can be anything like cyclic AMP, IP3, calcium ion, which regulates the further metabolism and carry the signal further. Like this is a peptide hormone. Let's take for an example, this is FSH. This binds to the cell membrane receptor that is present on the cell membrane. This generates a response, and this response is further leads to generation of a secondary messenger. This can be anything like cyclic AMP or calcium double plus ions, and this leads to a biochemical response and physiological response like ovarian growth is executed. Now let's talk about mechanism of steroid hormones. Steroid hormones, these act on the intracellular receptors. Intracellular receptors can be the nuclear receptors. These steroid hormones, these are mostly responsible for regulating the gene expression or chromosome function by the interaction of hormone receptor complex with the genome. Biochemical action result in the physiological and developmental effects. For example, this is a steroid hormone. We can name this as estrogen. This estrogen comes and this enters the cell and interacts with the nuclear cell wall, and hence a hormone receptor complex is formed. This hormone receptor complex interacts with the genome. Later mRNA is formed, proteins are formed, and the physiological response like growth and differentiation of tissues is executed. Thank you.